Hello and welcome everybody to the MPGL, the Mineski Pro Gaming League LAN Finals. It is going to be yet another best of one for the group stages, Execration versus Awake, the Philippines versus Thailand pretty much. And we do see Meepo already banned out. That's a major bummer. I was so hoping to see Awake play that Meepo, but in any case, we're HeflaTV, your English coverage. I'm Coucher. I'm joined by Grandis V for his, I don't know, midnight, somewhat past midnight cast. I don't even know what time it is there exactly for him, but man, Grandis, how you doing?
Doing wonderfully. I ate turkey and I slept, and now I'm ready to cast some Dota at an ungodly hour. Right now, it's going to be a best of one between Execration and Awake, as previously mentioned, and Meepo being banned out does leave quite a lot of high-tier heroes left in the pool. Death Prophet first pick by Execration, and Awake they'll follow it up with the Jakiro Ogre Magi first two picks.
So really, just kind of standard picks. The bans, of course, the Meepo maybe not as ordinary, but against the Wake, definitely a team that loves to play Meepo. So unfortunate that they did ban it out though. Definitely would have liked to see some Meepo just get some spice into the games today already early on. But in this game, do you think like one team is the clear favorite for this, or how do you think just percentage-wise who has the advantage?
Honestly, I'm not so sure. I don't get to watch these teams enough to really have an educated opinion about who's actually going to win this game. I'd say it's fairly even, and I'll just stick to that.
I think you're probably correct in your prediction in that at least. I mean, Execration, they have been around for quite some time, but just losing Jay, Bimbo for the lineup who left to Mineski, it was a huge blow for them. So after that, they really haven't been on form. Awake, of course, I haven't seen them for about like a month as well at least, so can't know what to expect from them. But Execration, they did go for the Tidehunter next, so starting with the two cores, both extremely strong ones, of course. Just especially if you get double Ravage, maybe even a double Exorcism if you're extremely farmed on the Death Prophet. It's so hard to fight into that.
Definitely, and I think what Execration have gotten out of the bat, or excuse me, out of the gates, is just a little bit stronger than what Awake have. They have some decent heroes to be sure, a lot of magic damage, some decent tower pushing power with the liquid fire, as well as some nice utility in that bloodlust, but it's just not as smashy as what Execration have. They have huge teamfight ultimates. They'll be able to pretty much ensure teamfight victory unless a pickoff happens beforehand, unlike the Death Prophet, which is pretty unlikely. And then they'll be able to take towers after the fact with that exorcism. So, I don't know. Even though Awake gets some pretty nice heroes of their own, this early draft is looking really good for Execration.
Yeah, definitely. It's just getting their hands on such strong heroes. I guess Awake, with the Chikiro being there for them, they can try to just angle for some form of pushing strategy of their own, picking up something like a Lycan, maybe Nature's Prophet, something like those lines. We'll see if they will make it happen though. They can go any which way, just a Chikiro, so flexible as a hero as it is. You can be in the core, and I guess pushing wise it doesn't really matter as much if you're a core or support Chikiro. You just need the levels, you get at level 7 and your pushing power will be capped out already pretty much. So we'll see how Awake want to play this with Execration, banning out an Ember Spirit, whereas Awake taking out an Ancient Apparition and kind of an immediate Morphling pickup.
Yeah, the Ancient Apparition does feel like it is setting up for that Morphling. Execration already have some nice tools to disable this Morphling. They're going to go for the Drow. I love this from Execration. Lots of silences coming out from them to keep Morphling at bay, as well as a whole heap of damage. They should be able to get the Visage here as well. As their secondary support, or maybe they favored the Vengeful Spirit over that Visage. But either way, as far as Drow Ranger games are concerned, this one looks to be a pretty good one.
Yeah, it definitely won't be too bad by the looks of it. So far Awake, the only hero that they have to just close the distance, get next to the Drow Ranger is going to be the Morphling. Once he gets maybe a shotgun, it might actually be a threat, but before that, Drow might just be safe. But Execration did go for the Visage after all. So I guess Vengeful Spirit most likely will get banned now. At least Awake, I think it would be a pretty educated ban, to be honest. But in the meantime, I do have to say, shout out to Deathosis, however you pronounce that name, but man, he's just keeping the chat alive. Just trolling like no other I've seen for quite some time, so kudos to him.
Definitely. A troll of that magnitude is definitely been missing in the HeflaTV 2 chat for definitely some time. You haven't annoyed us enough, but tread carefully. The ban hammer might be coming your way shortly, so I don't know. We'll have to see. Vengeful Spirit is the ban coming out from Awake. No big surprises there. Awake themselves have some decent potential to pick up pretty much whatever they want to go for, to be honest. Let's Jakiro towards the off lane, or at least that's what the presumed lanes are going to be, and then they'll throw a Morphling either to mid or safe lane. They're looking for another farmer. And what exactly do you think that would be? I might expect Execration to ban out something like a Storm Spirit.
It definitely wouldn't be a bad hero for Awake to have, just... They really need somebody to close the distance. Maybe even something like a Phantom Assassin wouldn't be all that horrible. Of course you would most likely have to go for a BKB, but then again, almost any core they go for will have to go for a BKB at some point most likely. But a Puck gets banned out instead. I guess they're really expecting Awake to play just proper 4 Protect 1 style.
Yeah, it seems that's the case. I don't know. I'd like to see Awake go for one of those bigger carries that gets up in the face of the Draw Ranger. Honestly, I think the Phantom Assassin would be a pretty solid pick for them, although the damage from Exorcism is going to be really annoying. One of the more elusive heroes, but instead, they go for the Omni Knight.
Wow, okay then, it can be a strong hero. Repel is an extremely strong ability, of course, just the free BKB. Execration at the moment, they don't have like the best heroes to go for Diffusal Blades. Throw can go for one if he wants to just get some decent agility from it, I guess. Maybe even Tidehunter somewhere along the lane. Definitely wants to prioritize Refresher Orb though. Death Prophet, lots of other items he would like to go for first as well. It can somewhat work out, but I'm not overly confident just in their firepower now, or just the ability to just really jump and actually disrupt Execration's just teamfight plan.
I think that's fair. Dro Ranger, I'd love to see Dro pick up a Diffusal Blade for the Purge, as well as just the raw agility that item gives you. One of the most money-efficient agility items, even though you're not going to be benefiting very much at all from the mana burn. I think it's a worthwhile pickup this game for Extinction. Or Execration, excuse me.
I don't know, we'll see. It's definitely going to be somewhat hard, I think. Awake, maybe they have this kind of just practice through, maybe they know exactly what they're doing. And I don't even know how they're gonna lane this. Is it just like something like an Omni Lich off lane, just Shakiro Ogre safe lane and Morphling mid, or how the hell do you think that Awake is gonna lane this?
It definitely feels like that, especially with the boots first on this low tick. I think this is just straight up dual lanes for them.
Well, we'll see in any case, because the game gets unpaused. Got that just early, pause of the game out of the way. So to introduce the lineups as well, for the side of Execration on the Dairon Yui, we'll be playing the Tidehunter, heading towards the safe lane, leaving Primo on the Death Prophet mid with Chemo, playing the Rubik, Fox on the Visage, and the last one will be Doc on the Drow Ranger, and they're actually going for an aggressive tri-lane with their heroes.
On the Radiant side, currently in the offlane, we're going to have Solotic playing in the Omni Knight. Mid lane, Morphling going to be played by Toy2. He's currently followed by King A on the Lich. Probably just going to deny a creep after placing some wards. Bottom, we're going to have Ogre played by XN, as well as a Jakiro played by TNT2. For now, this aggressive tri-lane coming out from Execration is definitely very potent. A lot of damage coming out from these three heroes. And in the duration of one lift, they probably will be able to get quite a few kills. The constant Lich denies are going to be annoying, but that's only if Lich rotates down towards bottom.
Well, if it does, it's definitely going to hurt Execration unless they find the kills to just kind of negate the lack of XP. Because they won't have access to any pulls, whereas if you would be on the Radiant side and going the aggressive tri-lane, at least you would be able to side pull through, get something that way. So, dire aggressive tri-lane is a little bit harder to play out. Of course, the just attack angles are a little bit better thanks to that. Just coming in from the side is a little bit easier than that of just the dire safe lane. But we'll see at the moment. They're just trying to camp out somebody at a rune. Nobody's going to take the bait though, so Execration easily get both runes for themselves.
Definitely. Well, we'll have to see how these lanes work out. In mid lane, looks like it is going to be a dual lane for Awake, as King A has just been chilling around here. It's going to give Morphling a little bit of a better time, but also pretty much concedes that Drow Ranger is going to be able to get her farm. Up against the Jakiro and Ogre, generally a pretty strong dual lane. Up against this tri-lane, however, of Execration, I just don't see them getting much done.
Well, at the moment, it's just the lanes. Probably Tidehunter should have a pretty decent time against Omni Knight, although Omni Knight, with the Purification, can put some nice harassment to Tidehunter as well if he times it correctly. But of course, I still think Tidehunter probably has the upper hand in that lane.
Definitely, and I think that Omni Knight's still able to get a decent amount, but Tidehunter should be out CSing him and get a very fast Blink Dagger as well.
That's definitely scary if you're Awake at this point in time.
Wait for him in mid. They're going hard onto Primo. They're bringing their Curry out deep. One more right click from the Morphling. It's going to be first blood for Toy 2. I didn't expect that to go down, but the nuking power of Waveform as well as the Frostblaster and Lich seems to be enough.
Them only being level 1 definitely isn't the most common of kills to get this early on. Usually it's like when Waveform or Frostblast, maybe even both of them are level 2, then it gets a little bit easier. I guess they must have gotten some damage onto Death Prophet before as well. I'm not too sure exactly. At least Death Prophet got his bottle before. Just rushing it completely, only 2 Iron Branches before. Just needed to do 2 last hits anyway for it. So at least he has that to work with now. Just pull up, be on his own high ground, spam out Crypt Form to just get the farm. Doesn't really need to endanger himself. But Lich just dual lanes are so strong. Like no matter the lane you are in, just the constant Frostblast harass is so hard to deal with.
Yeah, this Death Prophet's not going to be having a great time. Let's see if Execration are going to be able to make up for that down in bottom. Currently, no kills are really being attempted in this bottom lane. Jakiro's just playing as defensively as he possibly can. TNT not going for any looking far as of yet. Just 1 point of Dual Breath as well as into Ice Path. Putting a little bit of harass into the Draw Ranger, but not really shutting down her farm at all.
It's really hard to do that, of course, as well with the lanes that they have set up at the moment. But Execration, their support, roaming around a little bit. They find the Regen Rune, or they're really gonna accompany Primo there just to be on the safe side. I mean, does he really need 2 people escorting him? I guess, well, when they smoke up, it might pay off. Primo, him actually going back into the mid lane and having the smoke broken might give away the smoke.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Right now, Chemo, their smoke is going to be broken as well. They're going to go into TNT, lift him up, throw him back into the Draw Ranger, silence back. They have a Soul Assumption charging up from Fox, gonna throw it into TNT, just one more auto attack. It is going to be Visage to draw that kill.
Just so easy for them to go for it. Of course, Jakiro, a rather tanky hero, especially with the Ring of Protection as well, but not nearly tanky enough. Had he had boots, there would have been a slight chance of survival. But nicely done by Execration, and that's exactly what this tri lane is kind of designed to do as well. Soul Assumption is just such a strong ability. And Toy, does he really keep on going out to Primo? Sure, looks like it. He has the boots as well. Needs at least another waveform, but the Regen Rune on Primo. Oh god, Toy. He's in some trouble now himself. Has the waveform, so I guess he's going to be fine. Lich, unfortunately, couldn't come and follow up because Lich does not want to dive a tower this early.
Jukes through the woods. He is going to eat another Crypt Storm. Still strength morphing throughout all of this. Has enough mana for a waveform, but it's unlikely he's able to get this kill now. Toy ends up taking the lesser half of that exchange. A very aggressive move from the Morphling, but at least he doesn't die for it.
So that's a little bit unfortunate indeed. Lich, of course, in the meantime, did make good use of just having the lane for himself. Tried to farm up as best as he could. 7 last hits for himself. At least gonna be able to purchase boots for himself now. Bottom lane, they go for TNT again. Should be an easy kill onto Jakiro, just surrounded by 3 heroes completely, and there's no escape.
Yeah, second verse, same as the first. It is going to be just a really easy kill for them to take for themselves. And kind of as expected, Titan are doing very well up against the Omni Knight, but Omni Knight's not doing terribly either. I don't really expect Akira to go back down in this bottom lane, at least alone, and even with support, it's very dangerous.
Well, at this point, looking at other lanes as well, Tidehunter, 23 and 2 rather now, up against 15 and 3. So like we expected, Tidehunter should have the just last hit advantage there, but Solitic getting some decent farm as well. Especially once he finishes up Arcane Boots or a Soul Ring, whichever he wants to go for. He's going to just get the sustainability of the Purification, so doesn't have to worry too much about it himself. But which item would you like to see? Oh, never mind. Bottom lane, they want to go for Ogre or Jakiro. Ice Path will maybe buy some time. Oh no, it misses! He waited too long for it. And now at least one of them, maybe even both of them, will be royally screwed. Telekinesis, not gonna get the drop down stun onto the Ogre, but he's blocked in as well now. Oh god, this bottom lane is just an epic disaster for them.
It really is. Draw Ranger now, Aquila completed, 900 gold on top of it. They're going to go on Death Prophet in mid again with the Waveform and the Frostblast. Looks like they're almost going to have enough damage, but the bottles up from Primo are going to save her, if nothing else. And Death Prophet's going to survive. It's 4-1 in the favor of Execration. What was the question you were asking before that actually happened?
Would you like to see Omni Knight go for just straight Arcane Boots, or do you think Soul Ring is like a better choice?
I think just straight Arcanes into like Blink.
I would prefer that build as well. I've seen just so many Omni Knights go for Soul Ring, although they have like the gold for Arcane Boots. It's all the just point of it has always eluded me, but now he has 1k gold, so I guess him not having picked up a Sage's Mask or Ring of Regen kind of indicates Arcane Boots, and it's definitely the better choice, I think.
We'll have to see right now. Down in bottom, TNT currently inside the woods is going to be spotted out, or attempted to be spotted out by the Rubik as the tier 1 tower drops to the Draw Ranger. This bottom lane could not have gone any better for Execration, or at least in my book.
It's definitely has been so hard. In the mid lane though, Morphling drops extremely low but gets a regeneration rune for himself. What a great rune to get in such a situation. But Throw Ranger, he's not even level 6 yet. Once he gets that 1 level into marksmanship, suddenly she herself gets a lot scarier just because the extra attack speed, the extra damage. And of course the precision aura gets a lot of extra as well, and he has been focusing up just scaling up precision aura as well, so 30% of her agility, already the bonus damage. That's bonus 15 for every single ranged hero, and that's 4/5 of their team. So they just get so much extra free damage. Unless Awake really get the jump on Drow in the start of the fights and kill them off, they're gonna be suffering quite a long time from it.
Definitely. Draw Ranger's item this game looks like it's going to be a Wraith Band, and she's going to send out herself a Mask of Madness recipe. So we are going to see a Mom Drow. Currently mid again, they'll jump out of the Death Prophet, and this time with some help from the Ogre. It's going to be a very straightforward and easy kill. As good as bottom lane is going for Execration, Awake are getting a lot out of this middle lane.
It really is. I mean, 15 last hits on a Death Prophet isn't all that much at all. Death Prophet, maybe he could have been playing things a little bit safer. Of course, this particular gank, there was no escape from it. It was nighttime as well, so it's really hard to be vigilant in that case. But they want to come into the mid lane of their own now, Execration the days. Can they get the Morphling though? I mean, he has the waveform after all, so they need some excellent like stun lockdown or something, but will the telekinesis just be sufficient for this? They don't have the silence. Well, they're gonna try in any case. Crypt Spawn as well, Fate Bolt used, waveform is there. He's alive, Soul Assumption, a few more right click, Strength Morph is too strong for them to handle.
And Morphling is going to live after that gank, but still forced away from this lane. Smiley face coming out from the Morphling, so a little bit cheeky coming out from him, but either way he is going to survive on a fairly low HP. Strength Morph is a great defensive ability.
And in the meantime, they also managed to bring down a Highlander top lane with just 3 heroes going on to him. So 3 to 4, Awake. Although the bottom lane went horribly, at least they're getting some counter kills now as well as getting some space to farm up. They definitely need it, just because Shakiro has nothing, doesn't even have too many levels to his name. He's at least level 5, so I guess it's not horrible or anything. But Awake, when do you think they're just gonna like start grouping up and going for towers or trying to death ball, or do they even go for it at all?
I don't know, we'll have to see. Tidehunter does have his Ravage and is going to throw a Gush into Solotic. He has Anchor Smash, but that's going to miss. On top of that, bringing in the Visage just might just be a very easy kill onto Solotic, unless he puts the Repel onto himself. We'll have to see. Right now, the Visage is just going to show his face in lane. Omni Knight's going to be zoned out for now. Solotic does go for the Arcane Boots first, and saving up quite a bit of gold. I think the presumed build is going to be the direction he heads.
Oh, at the moment, Mask of Madness is finished on the draw. They could even try to just sneak a Roshan with just Visage Familiars if they only had them. But now TNT might be in trouble, might just go down. No, never mind, he's going to TP out. Still a lot of damage coming out from Doc, but not nearly enough at this point still. Top lane though, Toy, he's around, has the Repel as well. There's the Chain Frost. Is he going to get any bounces through? Yes, it is. Beautifully actually coming. Gets at least 3 of them. Yui going to go down without even using the Ravage. So just a really clean kill.
Yeah, definitely. And now tying up the kill score of 4 to 4. Morphling is one of the carries that does contribute a decent amount in the early portions of the game, but he doesn't get immediately scary after just one major item. Toy2 still has quite a ways to go. Pings over in the Roshan pit. Awake, think that something's up. They don't see anybody, but now they do up in the top lane. Sound's going to land on the Omni Knight. Fire Blast return. One more arrow from the Drow is not going to be enough to kill off the Omni. He did heal himself up. So right now, Execration are the ones on the retreat. Chemo and Fox taking one too many tower shots.
Well, at the moment, mid lane as well. Yui, he has the Ravage. Will he be able to even use it? Trying to defend the tower. I guess that's a success for him at least. But the Tidehunter, 2 deaths on him. Just slowed down a little bit too much. Top lane though. Nice telekinesis from Chemo. Slows down the aggression from Solotic. But 1 point into Degen Aura already is really hard to escape from, to be honest. And Execration, although the bottom lane worked out wonders for them, Visage still not level 6. At least the Medallion of Courage will be finished rather soon. I guess that's what they're maybe waiting for, just Familiars and the Medallion of Courage and then going to Roche.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the plan for them. And once they have those tools, the Draw Ranger and the Visage alone can take it very quickly. And then just keep the Tidehunter in reserve. You can leave the other heroes out farming in lanes pretty easily. Unless Wake maintain their vision around the Roshan pit, it's going to be very hard to detect. Right now, they're going to be sitting in mid, waveform aggressively onto Primo. This time he is going to back off in time. With that extra 36 damage coming out for the Joe Ranger, Primo is having a little bit of a better time after the very early laning stage, but still not doing great. It is serviceable for a Death Prophet, however. Phase Boots and Bracers, as long as you're getting levels, it's okay.
Well, looking at the graphs as well at this point, 2k network lead, XP, or 2k for Execration, XP about 1700 for Awake, and they are trying to push something down now with the Liquefier of the Jakiro. Really an easy tool for pushing, to be honest, but top lane being pushed in by Execration at the same time. Mask of Madness, Throw Ranger, 36 points of damage with the Precision Aura to every ranged hero. Cast onto King 8 to just stop a Chain Frost or anything like that from coming out. So it might be a tier 1 trade, although Execration might even be able to defend their own mid lane.
Yeah, let's see. They're going to dive Primo, hasted up on Toy 2, going to go very aggressively on the enemy side of the map, but he has some backup. They're going to Grave Chill, Ravage up Toy 2 to get the Anchor Smash. Soul Assumption, the damage is almost there, but not enough. Strength Morphing and that Haste Rune is going to keep him alive for now. Rubik on an Intercept course, looking for the lift, will connect onto Toy 2. Bottling up, he has a little bit more Strength Morph to go, but not much at all. Toy 2 still surviving, going to Waveform over the top into the Death Prophet. He's completely out of mana now. Strength Morphing, but can't do anything else. Now with the heal coming out from the Omniite return, Lich Chain Frost going to bounce back and forth to several heroes. Nobody's dying just yet. Soul Assumption return into King 2. They'll kill off the Rubik, and now Toy 2's back in here with a vengeance. Silenced up man fighting up against Doc with the Purification, doing quite a lot to Fox. Trying to kill off this Morphling is a very hard task indeed, with 71 base strength, and now he's going to Waveform over the top, killing the Visage on impact. It's going to be a double kill for Toy 2, and a wonderful turn by Awake.
Yeah, and Solatic's Guardian Angel didn't even land on the Morphling himself, so he still took the damage from the Draw Ranger, but at this point just not enough. At least not with the Draw Ranger being the only one just inputting damage into Morphling. And we just see how strong a Morphling can be survivability wise. The Strength Morph is just so sick, he gets so much HP. They want to go for Doc now. Did they know exactly where he is? I guess maybe Waveform over. I don't think Morphling himself will be enough. If only the Replicate had the Frost Arrows as well.
Definitely. Might be a tad OP, but either way, Morphling is still doing wonderfully this game. It looks like it's going to be a Linken's build coming out from Toy 2. Can't say I'm the biggest fan of this build on the Morphling. It feels like it's more of a passive farming item. It's going to give him nice stats and block the lift from the Rubik as well as some other auxiliary spells, but the most lockdown coming out from Execration that's going to be bothering the Morphling are the AoE silences from the Dro and the DP, as well as the Ravage, which that Linken's Sphere is going to do nothing about. In mid, he is going to get his Agility Morph stolen by Chemo. He is going to be able to strength throughout all of this. There's a Fire Blast in the sidelines, Purification, they kill off the Dro very quickly. Now turning, looking for Fox, they are right-click him down with Toy, has another waveform, and now with, excuse me, that Repel on top of him will be able to kill him off very fast. And now they'll group up and look for a little bit of a push. A clean kill, or 2 kills, excuse me, going the way of Awake.
Yeah, Dominant Knight, he's up to 2.5k gold as well now. What the hell is he even gonna go for? Is it gonna be the Blink? Is it gonna be a mech for their team, maybe even? I guess Jakiro could try to build a mech at some point as well, but going for a Yule Scepter first at least. They're getting a lot of value out of the Omni Knight, to be honest. The repels, the purifications, keeping people alive nicely. Rubik did steal the repel, so might be useful in return as well. There is quite a lot of magic damage coming off from Awake. But Awake, they're looking good, pretty good even, to be honest, especially considering that the tri-lane just crashed the dual lane of Awake there. But now mid lane, King A wants to come in again. He has the Chain Frost ready, or he's the one going for mech after all. So Omni Knight, 2.7k gold. Might we see something like a Radiance Omni Knight this game?
That's what it feels like. I hate it, but maybe that's what we're gonna see. He's gonna decide to pick up an Ogre Club, so it looks like it is going to be an Aghanim Scepter Rush for Slotic. Maybe just a little bit hesitant to commit for that item. Smoke down in bottom, going up from Execration. They're on the hunt for a couple of enemy heroes. Let's see if they're gonna find it. They might bump into the Jakiro or the Ogre Magi, but then again, Awake are in full force, and this could be very risky if they actually jump into this. Let's see if anything's going to break out. Oh, don't go up that ramp. Ogre Magi is going to back off. Now that Jakiro is the one to be in a little bit of trouble. The smoke's going to dissipate. I believe it broke on the Draw Ranger. Maybe she just farmed a couple of creeps, and for now, nothing's actually happening. They'll go into the Roshan pit instead. With the Medallion as well as the Gush, it should be a fairly easy one, as long as Awake don't show their faces.
That's a lot, of course, to hope for. And that one Morphling has a double damage as well, so they're just trying to pressure the tier 2 down. And just look at Execration's Primo. Death Prophet is only level 8. And they're gonna find Yui, who gets the blink out before he gets jumped. So thank God for that. But this Death Prophet, man, well, 46 last it's not bad or anything, but you definitely need levels on a Death Prophet. You just want to have that Exorcism on higher levels. Level 1 Exorcism, it may be strong, but not quite strong enough in most cases. In the meantime, Toy, he wants to go for Yui with his double damage. Still has it for a little while, but oh, rather went in way too deep. He's gonna go down. That was so ambitious. You could have just gone for tier 2 mid lane and just played safe.
He probably could have, even though he got the strength morph off before the silence actually didn't matter. The damage from Execration is immense. Everybody's getting plus 37 from the Draw Ranger, even though she's going for a decently agility light build. Just the Aquila of casual Wraith Band and power treads doesn't actually matter. Everybody's right-clicking very hard. The Soul Assumption to top things off is an incredible amount of nuke. Here's the Medallion and the Quick Roshan that we've kind of been talking about for the last couple of minutes, and it is going to be going in the favor of Execration with no trade in sight for Awake, although they do drop the tier 2 tower mid to about half.
That was really weird. Awake, I think they lost a lot of momentum from that, because now Execration, they can go for at least a tier 1 at the minimum. They have the Exorcism, maxed out Witchcraft, maxed out Crypt Form as well to just clear the creep waves. Familiars are up. They have the Aegis, just what should stop them? They even have the Ravage ready as well if need be. Yui is zoned out by a little bit at the moment, but the Familiars just scouting out Solatic and King A as well. That's going to be a really easy tier 1.
Yeah, it is, and Awake, even though they're Morphlings at the top of the net worth chart, his immediate impact is pretty limited. He has Ultimate Orb working towards a Lincoln Sphere, and it's not bad farm by any means for Toy 2. But then again, that Lincoln Sphere, it doesn't really do much this game. It's not going to help him kill heroes, and honestly, the biggest tool that's going to help him survive is the repel from Solotic. So maybe just going for like a Manta style or more of a fighting build could have been better this game.
I would have really preferred that as well. I guess you don't want to get like Soul Assumption, or I'm not too sure even.
Toy 2? He's going to walk into the backlines, finds the Visage, but in the meantime, jump in for a 4-man Ravage, blowing up the Lich immediately. Ice Path from Jakiro to try and disengage, lands in a dock, but doesn't matter. Waveform over 2 heroes, Primo and Chemo, are going to eat quite a bit. They have repelled up Toy 2 as he tries for some sort of chase. The Visage on the backlines is going to eat quite a few spells from the Ogre Magi, but doesn't fall yet, and for now, it is going to be a disengage from either side, as nobody really needs to take a fight. Chemo's awkwardly on the enemy side of the map, no TP scrolls, and Rubik is in the wrong neighborhood, I would say, but let's see if he's going to be able to make a clean retreat. He's going to bump into Jakiro, but from the high ground, Jakiro has no vision of him. The Ogre Magi might catch eyes onto him, but it looks like Chemo is going to be able to make his retreat, although only just.
Just like a man running out, nothing else. Not going to be caught. He gets pinged out now. Toy, does he really want to wait? He waveforms over. Can he even get the kill? Adaptive Strike, only level 1. The right clicks are coming. Chemo has the telekinesis. Fate Bolt used as well. One more waveform is probably gonna get the kill for him if he lands with it. Purification, Chemo, come on. He gets it onto Toy 2. Toy 2 drops pretty low himself. Has to use the magic one, and Chemo does make it out in the end. So Awake just kind of wasting some more time trying to chase him down as well. And in the last fight, they got the tier 2 down. Also, wasn't even denied, just destroyed by the Death Prophet. So they got a lot of value from just killing off the Morphling once. They got the Aegis, they got the tier 1 and the tier 2 from it. Yeah,
Toy 2. I don't know, he's trying to play really aggressively, but I don't think Morphling's really the hero to do that with, especially if you are going for Lincoln's build. He doesn't die, but then again, he doesn't have enough damage to get the kills.
Bottom lane Drow needs only one more right click onto Jakiro. He's trying to choke around the trees, not fast enough, Doc. Pops his newly acquired BKB and will TP out. Chainfrost cancels it though. Can he still make his run for it? Mask of Madness on cooldown. He's most likely going to lose the Aegis, maybe even try to stand and fight, although I guess that's suicidal. He's still trying to outrun them. If Solotic gets in range though, he's going to be screwed, or never mind. He gets far enough, they back off.
Yeah, I think that's an okay move. It is only level 1 into that degen war. Familiar drop's going to connect onto Solotic, and the Draw Ranger's going to come back in. Repel's going to stop him from getting silenced, and Drow's not going to be able to do the damage. It's BKB spent for a kill, and in the end that's about all that Doc lost, and pretty much all that he intended to lose, even if the TP succeeded. In mid lane, jump in, Tidehunter is going to get the Anchor Smash off onto Toy 2. He's putting quite a bit of damage on that tier 2 tower, but with no backup, he's not going to be able to do it, especially not as fast as Draw Ranger and her team, plus the Exorcism are going to be able to take the tier 2 bot.
The Exorcism being only level 1, but it's plenty when you have the Familiars around as well. Precision Aura was even activated for this. So, easy tower down. They've actually destroyed almost every single tower, outer one at least. So only one left. So maybe with the next Exorcism, which is going to be level 2 at that time as well, they can easily go, or Maybe they're even gonna pressure now. They have the Aegis after all. They have the BKB cooling off as well for the draw. So theoretically they could keep on going, but is it wise? Or well, never mind, they're backing off already.
Yeah, it seems that that's just going to be the game plan. Execration aren't going to go for it. Roshan might be the trigger for them to go high ground, but they still have a tier 2 tower up top for them to take. So I don't think there's any real rush for Execration to push high ground of Awake. Morphling is farming very well, and eventually he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Once he picks up like a shotgun to deal with the Draw Ranger, that could be a pretty important item pickup for him. But we'll just have to see if they're going to be able to get there unscathed. Right now, nobody else on their side really has enough farm to compete with the enemy team. Omni Knight's still working towards this Aghanim Scepter, about 600 gold till he has that completed. And even when he gets Aghanim Scepter, it's kind of nice defensively, but Awake, it just feels like they're lacking a lot of damage.
It's definitely true at the moment as well. They need a huge chain frost or something like that. Maybe they can blow up somebody with just waveform into purification, for example. But even that's not the easiest to set things up. Overall, Awake, they were ahead by quite a lot of XP at some point now. It's only 1k lead, still for them, but net worth 4k for Execration, just being able to drop down those towers. They're getting so much value on Omni Knight. Although he got off to a pretty great start, the Aghanims will still be somewhat delayed, all things considered. And now top lane, Toy2, he had an enemy rune, so he's safe, all is fine. But looks like Execration, they really have their sights set on the last outer tower.
Primo is very close to the Morphling, and I think they smell something up, but either way, they are going to look towards that tier 2 tower. They do have a couple of pings off in the sidelines, doesn't really matter. They're just going to muscle down this top tower. They won't have Exorcism immediately for this push, and they're going to sit Tidehunter down towards bottom, but even just a handful of heroes right-clicking should be enough to take the tower with the damage the Draw Ranger is giving them. And for as much damage as Awake are lacking, Execration have it in spades. An extra 44 right-click for every single hero on their team. Down towards bottom, Eul Scepter Ice Path is going to save TNT. They don't want to commit the Ravage for it, and he is going to survive, but XN not going to be so lucky, looking for a straight TP out as well. Looks like he's also going to survive. His Fire Blast wasn't stolen, and still holding on to the Ravage. Or actually, no, they spent it.
Yeah, they blinked in with the Ravage, so really nicely played by the Jakiro. Knowing that if he can stop the telekinesis from coming out, he's going to be just fine. It's pretty close. I mean, Ice Path 2.2 seconds, so he was cutting it close, but he got out Ogre after the telekinesis. Just smart choice to TP out as well. They did lose a tier 2 for it, but gaining a tier 1 plus baiting out the Ravage is kind of a fine trade, to be honest. I don't think Awake would have been able to defend the tier 2 anyway, so I'd say it's a win for them in the end.
They do get a tier 2 tower in mid as well, so...
Hey guys, welcome back for the second, third time, I don't even know to be honest, but we are here, we are on post for the Mineski Pro Gaming League season number 6, the LAN finals, the grand finals for it, whatever, how you want to call it. It's the group stages so far, Awake versus Execration in this best of 1. We are HeflaTV, I'm Coucher, I hopefully am chill, still joined by GrindSV as well, man. Do you think we can actually finish this game?
I sure as hell hope so. My goodness, it's been long enough. Right now, Awake grouped up towards the top lane, looking to make a tier 2 tower push there, as Execration are farming up their own, or the enemy woods and their own ancients. My goodness, Liquid Fire is going to make this tier 2 tower push up top pretty easy for Awake, although the glyph has been popped by Execration. Looks like they're looking to contest, although Doc is nowhere close, TPing in immediately. We might have the start of a pretty big fight unless everybody just walks away.
Well, looks like they might just lose the tier 2 and get nothing, although Yui, he jumps in, doesn't pop the Ravage just because it was still on cooldown for about 7 seconds. Familiar drop downs, Yule's used. Can they go for the kill though? Doesn't look like it, so tower denied, and maybe the Prophet is in some trouble now. Is he gonna get jumped? No, never mind, Toy, not gonna go for it, at least not that deep. Exorcism popped as well, they want to keep on fighting. Blink Ravage comes out, will catch at least 3 heroes, but the Guardian Angel is there, so they don't take any damage from the Exorcism, not for now at least. Nobody's still dead, waveform forward, Toy maybe a little bit too aggressive. But he's still alive for now, not for too long though. It's a 2 for 0, they might even lose the Ogre as well. Ice Path will catch 2 pretty nicely. But Yui got the blink forward, now Jakiro trying to TP out and is not gonna be successful. So a 4 for 0 fight, and the tower also got denied.
Yeah, an absolute train wreck for Awake. As soon as the Guardian Angel wears off, they all just melt, which is the power of the physical damage of Execration. And maybe it is right that they don't even need any diffusal blades. They just have to wait it out, and up against Awake, they don't have enough damage to really burst targets down inside that duration. Going aggressive when they have Guardian Angel on them is so hard. Like, the Morphling tried, he waveformed forward, he got an adaptive strike out, but that hardly tickled Doc.
They were so close to finishing up that shotgun as well on the Morphling. Had they just waited for that, things would have been so much better. But now in the mid lane, they're taking a lot of damage on the tier 3 already with the familiars, with the draw. They will back off now that everybody is alive. Them of course not having the Ravage as well. But Yui for the next fight most likely will have the double Ravage. He's only 700 gold short of the recipe of the refresher.
Yeah, and they're also going to have the Aghanim Scepter completed by the Visage in the next fight. Unfortunately enough for them, they will have to wait 100 seconds before they have the resum to get the 3 familiars, but that is flying out to Fox currently on the Courier. Also, Execration are going to be able to take another Roshan. The minus armor and the plus damage from the Drow means that this Roshan is not going to be living very long. They'll be able to take it in just a couple of seconds.
So that's going to be ages, probably for the Drow, I assume. Yes, he picks it up. So that just kind of means that he does not have to guarantee save for buyback. He can just finish up the Daedalus immediately.
Okay, well apparently they need a sec. I'm not sure exactly why they'd need a sec. We've been waiting here for 2 hours, but apparently there's hang or lag on these games, and well, I think they're just gonna have to suck it up and let's play some Dota. Either way, they do have their Aegis and their Roshan completed. Drow Ranger does have quite a large sum of gold, and for now, Execration, they're poised to look for another team fight as soon as they have the double Ravage up.
Yeah, it's going to be huge for them, just having the double Ravage, and there's still going to be only one Repel, and no other BKBs coming out for anybody at all, at least not for the time being. So Execration, especially with the last fight as well, they solidified their lead a little bit. XP was more or less zeroed out now, about a 4k lead for Execration, net worth 6,000 or so. So they're looking good. They have destroyed all the outer towers. Tier 1 or tier 3 rather mid lane, kind of an easy target, 180 HP only. Ice armor makes it a little bit harder to push, but with all the abilities that Execration has, they should still be able to just bring down the buildings rather fast.
Definitely, and here's your double Ravage. The natural cooldown for the first Ravage is back up. Awake do get an Ethereal Blade, but that's not enough to instantly kill most of these targets, and even if they do, I don't think it really matters. That tier 3 tower fell so quickly. Now into the melee barracks they focus, looking for a silence on the Morphling. He jumps in, he is matching me, trying to blow up Fox, but he actually doesn't care. He has maxed out Gravekeeper's Cloak, and it hardly does any damage, especially after Purification is out, and that's Morphling's entire kit. Range barracks are going to fall, melee barracks are now focused by the familiars. With that precision aura damage, the melee barracks are taken, and Execration don't even have to use a single Ravage for it. They can swing down bottom and look for another one. Ethereal Plate Shotgun used yet again, but also just does nothing. This Morphling cannot contest this push.
At least Execration Exorcism will wear off, so I guess maybe they're not going to go for high ground at the moment. It's not like they have to. They will have the Aegis for long enough for the Exorcism to come off cooldown anyway. So there's really no point in just forcing something that might backfire in the end. But Execration, they're in a heavy lead now. Daedalus is finished. They're going to have... What? That's oh, there's a BKB as well for the Death Prophet, so getting 2 huge items for themselves now. What can stop them, or can Awake even stop them at all?
I'm not sure. Like, Awake, they need a miracle Chain Frost, and a lot of multicast from this Ogre. Like, there's nothing that's really guaranteed for them to win a fight. Even if they get all of their spells off perfectly, even then it might not be enough. Especially kill the Drow Ranger twice. Awake have a very one-cycle team. They don't do very much sustained damage through the fights. Morphling does a decent amount of right-click, under 97 a pop, but that's when he's completely agility morphed as well, and he's not going to survive long at that level. He's going to be forced to morph into strength later on. So I don't know, Toy. It's not a very comfortable game to be the Morphling. As carries are concerned, he's one that wants to get in, burst down a single target, then get out of the fight. Kind of like a Weaver or a Slark, I suppose, in that sense. But either way, they need something miraculous to happen, especially once this Aegis, or since this Aegis is still up for Doc.
Yeah, it's not gonna become a hell of a lot easier either, it's just because Rubik, as he gets more levels, he's gonna get more points into Null Field as well, so it's gonna just be even more magic resistance throughout the entire team of them. But they do want to go for the push. Exorcism, about 10 more seconds on cooldown, but they go in with the familiars already. Precision aura is there. Tier 3, they force the glyph out, so that's good enough. So that just means that Exorcism, it's not gonna have any downtime at all for the buildings.
Yeah, and they also have a Guardian Angel defend this, but they're going to silence up the Ogre Magi and then go to work on this tier 3 tower. It's going to be denied, but jumping from the Titan gets a huge Ravage. Huge double Ravage connects onto all 5. Focus down Awake, he's lifted up, strength morphing through this. I don't think it's going to save him. Ethereal's up Chemo, and that might save him for a little bit. Lich Chain Frost bouncing through, doing some decent damage to Chemo and the other heroes, but just like that, GG's called. They can't do anything.
Man, Yui, beautiful stuff. Literally caught every single hero in both Ravages. That is something you don't see every day. And although they couldn't get the follow-up kills immediately, it was enough for them to just get the GG called. Those pauses, so worth it, man. So worth it.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to say. Thanks for watching, and hopefully the rest of the tournament will progress without any further delays.
Yes, so we are going to cast Execration versus Insidious Idol next, so should be a pretty damn great game, all things considered. So hopefully it's gonna start soon enough. Hopefully Insidious Idol, they are behind the PC, have everything set up and whatnot. We'll find out if that's the case actually as well. But thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry for the pauses, but that's just the sad truth of it. So we'll see you for the next game, and of course the VODs will also be uploaded if you want to just recheck them. We'll take some time to actually edit them together with the pauses and whatnot, but anyway, they will be up on youtube.com/HeflaTV. But see you for Execration versus Insidious Idol, hopefully at the maximum in 15 minutes.